So, one of the favorite things about my opposition is that they will say, he doesn't have any proof. He can't prove anything. So this video is all the things I can prove. So, first let's take that Earling, Iowa gas station explosion. And for any of you who have any questions about that, just go to my website, davidschurter.com. In the search bar, type in Earling, Iowa gas station explosion, and everything will come up. This is what I can prove about that. I was getting death threats, constant death threats, and I was sending them to Neil at the time, who told me they couldn't figure out who was sending those emails. When that guy, so he knew about the death threats. Did he investigate especially after the gas station explosion? No. My neighbors who lived in between the house my sister had bought, who wasn't there at the time, and my house were my neighbors, Jim and Debbie. The people who were there at 3 o'clock in the morning, who woke them up because they were across the street from the gas station, did any of that get investigated? No, none of it got investigated. And the easiest thing to prove is that when that gas station exploded, KETV, our local news station, showed up in Earling. And they interviewed Neil. But they also interviewed me. There were 2 explosions, not one, like what's written on the report. Neil never told them about the death threats I was getting. Neil never told them that there were people across the street from that gas station the night before that gas station exploded, or they were there Saturday, that gas station exploded. The first explosion was at 9 o'clock Monday morning. None of that got investigated. Neil didn't say anything. That's the reason why Thomas wants to crawl up Neil's ass so hard. Because I can show that I sent Neil emails of all the death threats. And that I told him about what Jim and Debbie told me about people being there that Saturday night. And we were in COVID lockdown. Nothing had been open for weeks, let alone that night. So, and the nice thing about this is, it's too late to change that report now. Insurance monies have been paid out. Insurance companies don't like to be lied to, and they certainly don't like to pay for things they're not legally liable for. But that gas station explosion wasn't a mistake. Next thing, when I moved to Harlan, after the gas station explosion, I have then Chief of Police Derek Yamada sitting in my living room on video for an hour and a half. And though you can't see me because the camera was right over my head, you can hear my voice distinctly and hear the conversation about who I was complaining about. A week later, his deputy shows up, that woman, all involved with the very people that I was complaining about. Then a week later, or not even, this all happened in a week and a half. They show up at my house demanding I call them and giving me their number 4 times. I have all of this on video. And the reason why this is important is because protection orders are their favorite fucking thing to shut people down. They used it on me in Algona, Washington. Kent, Washington, you can go. Go get those paperwork and realize that every one of the videos listed on that paperwork have nothing to do with the petitioners, but only and solely deal with Doug Masico, a.k.a. Doug Mesner, a.k.a. Lucien Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. They only deal with him. And the dude, unbeknownst to me, was living 23 miles away from me in Tacoma, Washington for 4 years. The 3+ almost 4 years I lived in Washington, and I didn't know it. Things would have been a bit different. Next one. Captain Underpants and the Goblin Dowd being in my town, sending me pictures. Captain Underpants being dumb enough to post a video on YouTube that showed he was in Harlan. Neil knows all of it. I sent Neil. But the cool thing about it is I don't just send it to Neil. I have a whole long list of investigators that I send it to and forward the shit to. So they know too. And they can see I sent this shit to Neil. They're saying they're in my town, sending me emails, laughing about it. And my best friend drops over, perished, at the exact same time. Coincidence? Maybe. But it's never been investigated because Neil hasn't investigated shit. That gas station explosion, had it gone the way they wanted it to, would have perished my whole block. And it was only by the grace of God that it shot out the other direction. Otherwise, people would have perished. In fact, Jim and Debbie put their house up for sale and moved out of the fucking state before their house even sold afterwards. None of this got investigated, and I can prove everything I've said in this video. They are out there telling you I'm a liar. They will tell you anything they possibly can to get you to not listen to me. They did the same thing to Max Spears. Now, when you type in Max Spears, you know whose name comes up over and over and over? That weird-ass woman, Tara Joyce. So now she's all things Max Spears. Issac Kappy, same thing. When he was exposing everything, oh, Isaac's a liar, oh, blah, blah, blah. Now when you type in Issac Kappy, or it was for a long time, the name that comes up, Corey Daniel, PhoenixEnigma. So you end up dismissing everyone. The issue is that I won't stop. And the stuff I've put out in this video, I can prove what I'm saying in this video. What Neil can't prove, none of it was ever investigated. Because that gas station explosion was a terrorist attack. That's what that gas station explosion was. And there were 2 explosions, not 1. And Neil knows that because he got interviewed with KETV just like I did. So that's what I can say about all this situation. They're doing anything they can to shut me down. But the funny thing is that Tara Joyce, who will go on and on and on about how I'm a grifter, now has a GoFundMe page where she says, oh, I've made $650. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. But that David, he's a grifter. Don't help him. Don't do anything for him. That's how it works here. This is how it works. All I've asked is for all of this to be investigated. That's all I have fucking asked, is for it to be investigated. But these are the things I can prove. And if I can prove this, then maybe, just maybe, all the other shit I've been saying might need to be looked into as well. Maybe, just a thought.